Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Dr. Ron. We are here on a Tuesday evening, and I'm here with my good brother, the notorious Reven Fellows, and Reven is going to be hanging out with me today. You might need to turn your speaker down just a little bit on your computer over there, Reven, because I'm getting a little feedback. Can you hear that?
Let me lower your volume.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I can hear a little echo in there, so that means it's coming off the speaker a little bit. You know. Well, while he's figuring that out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my introduction while Reven is getting it together on his end. I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to everybody that's out there on the front line. I know every week I said that I was going to be continuously wearing my scrubs in solidarity with everybody that's in the medical profession. I am retired, so y'all don't have to ask me why I got on scrubs, but it's in solidarity to everybody that's on the front line working with their health issues, dealing with people with the corona out there, and I'm going to continue to wear them as long as we're on lockdown and we're trying to keep people alive, especially since the numbers represent that we got more black people dying than we do anything else out there. So I'm in solidarity along with all of the other people that are on the front line, like pastors, police, firemen, anybody that's out there on the front line trying to do what they can to keep us all alive and keep us motivated and keep us, in the right state of mind in this terrible time that we're in right now called Corona. Okay. So I just wanted to share that information with you guys right now on what's going on. And I want to welcome to the show my brother and good friend, Mr. Reven Fellows. Man, how you doing, Reven?
I'm blacknificent.
Blacknificent. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, Reven sent me some information about the state of the Black agenda. Now, they must have had about 100 people on that Zoom call. And I tell you, it was interesting. I actually tuned in and listened to it. Okay. So I know that was something in the first place because they had me preoccupied for a couple of hours with this. And I came off of one Zoom call that day onto another one because everybody had something going on that day. And I know that Representative LaShawn Ford was the host of that. And I tell you, man, you had everybody with letters on the front of their name, on the back of their name. I mean, you had so many people on that call, man. It was outstanding. So the short and skinny of it. I mean, we ain't got to revisit the whole call. We ain't got to go through the whole thing all over again. But I mean, tell me what your observation on what came out of that.
Well, we're in the process. Well, what I wanted to do was State Rep Ford was about to have a black agenda. We were going to have a forum at Chicago State, where we was going to bring all the black agenda people to have a forum of people to present black agendas. And then that was canceled. And then we were going to do something at State Illinois building the day before the election on Your Black Voice Speaks, Black Lives Speak, down at State Illinois with about 400 people the day before the election, and do an early voting after that. And from what do black people want for state government? So that was canceled because of COVID-19. And so Rep. Ford decided, let's not keep waiting because we're in crises on COVID-19. And as you know, I'm one of the co-founders of National Black Agenda Consortium, and we've been looking at every black agenda since the 1800s to now. So we have a breathing vehicle that we didn't reinvent the wheel. We put some new spokes on the wheel. So Rep. Ford wanted to give it a platform because he was really impressed with what we've been doing because it has a historical significance from the Gary, Indiana. We have a copy from that one all the way to the Million Man March and to the latest. But the most important thing we have in our Black agenda, the pandemic preparedness. Years ago at Chicago State with Dr. Arnold and some others, we did the National Black Agenda with part of the pandemic preparedness with Brother Oja Minji, who's one of them, and Sister Yah Simpson. So we have some people that have background, and she's an epidemiologist in these areas. So we felt time that, hey, we were right on time. So we wanted to let people know there's an agenda and how we plug in. So I begin to go get people like you say, but I don't go get people with credentials that ain't got credibility. They ain't been to the block and been to the top and can communicate. So those people had real credentials that I know that they were doing good work. Dr. Arnold, Damian Arnold, who's was when they had the H1N1, he was on there, and Dr. Terry Mason, his work. So they're actually his first responder training. They've been doing some things with the government. We brought on Melinda Kelly, as you know, we're talking about business and then Corona-19. She was there challenging. So, like I said, I don't want to go through the whole list, but we had a 3 hours or 2-3 hour conversation. But people said it was too long. But we had it in section: business, preparedness, health. Also they're going to be doing everything's going online. Brother Quake Technology, they're doing after school programs online. So it was a great show, and we're going to have a follow up and break out into committees and invite people back on to get in on those committees on everything. So, man, thank you for reminding us. And we want to thank our brother State Rep Ford, who's been champion. I don't know if you've been watching, but he's working with Twister and them guys on the west side of the community, throughout the community, to get a million masks to give out. He's also been talking to the brothers in Stateville Prison, jamming on them about the conditions, COVID-19, and so the young brothers got some fresh legs, and we appreciate his work to be able to champion our community. And it's not just West Side, it's all of us all over the city, because all black people right now, we outside catching this case of COVID-19.
Yeah. So, with all the people that you had together for those 2 or 3 hours, I know one of the main focuses was the Black agenda going forward. Now, I know we got the possibility of a new president, keep my fingers crossed, going forward. And I know that you all were putting the agenda together to try to see what to present to him that you wanted to be on their radar and on their focus. So what were some of the things that was the highlight of what they would like to see addressed, after we survive this pandemic?
Well, one thing for sure is the economics of business. Black business was in 911 COVID before COVID. It was the culprit of the COVID before. So we black businesses had the virus for a while. So Melinda Kelly was on there to talk about what the government needs to do from the federal state. So let me bring everybody to speed. The call was based on the President of the United States, the election coming up, Joe Biden. What do black people need as policies, and what we recommend from that? And then target the governor of the state of Illinois, what we need from state, and then the mayor of the city of Chicago, what we need from city. So we have people on there talk about those different channels of policies on resources for the black community, testing, the mask, and then also a real conversation with black people getting access and getting our stuff. So I can't remember all of it, but I do know Melinda Kelly laid out that our business we need a serious stimulus package at the next level. We weren't even getting our regular stimulus package. So now when usually they say when white people got a cold, black people got pneumonia. So we addressed that issue and what looks like when you're going to be online school. They're not going back to school, so you got to go online with your education. So we're going to need our technology. Chicago has the largest amount of black technicians and technology firms, my understanding, in the United States. With that being said, we're still getting less than 1 to 2% of contracts, $450 billion, and the broadband, $500 million. Blacks are not at the table to get their share. So we need black contractors to get contracts to be able to do technology in the hospitals, because most hospitals don't have land phones, and my aunt is in the hospital, can't communicate. So we want to make sure our black technicians and technologies are on the table. Dr. Lance McCarthy out of St. Louis, whose brothers, they put together COVID-19 black contractors group with some of the best to go after contracts. So we need people to quit talking about jobs, go about contracts. So that's a little bit of some of the science and strategy and how do we get it to the community, man. So we're going to be following back up with that. People, they don't hurry up program. We've been working on it, but we got to be smart because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of miseducation going on as we speak.
And that's always the case, isn't it? It's nothing new about that. We always what they say, the last one's in and the first one's out. That's always the case. I mean, You know, we find out about things, and then we show up to try to take our little piece of the American pie, if you can call it that. And then the next thing you know, ain't no more pie. It's all gone. You know, so trying to put a national agenda. Would you say it's time to even address a national agenda at this time with all of the health issues that we got going on?
Well, this is why the Black Agenda, we have a host of, we brought together some of our greatest mind educators, teachers, principals, scholars, scientists, people in every area, economic development and business, organizations that have a history of it. So we consolidate, as you know, I bring people together and we've stuck together to put together comprehensive, using the old agenda, just bringing technology, but the Black Agenda is breathing in Chicago. That's what we want to be. We're not the wherewithal, but if you don't have every Black agenda since the 1800s to 71, and the Black agenda state of Illinois, and the Urban League state, so we've looked at all of them. So we think we're one of the top leaders in it because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So if you haven't read those agendas, then you pretty put an agenda that you feel that you think right now and not have a historical context. So I've been blessed after I did the research on them, because I'm an organizer on the block by block concept. I found out that those agendas been sitting in drawers and on the table and not been implemented. So it's breathing through Chicago bigger than anything in life. The National Black Agenda is on 79th Street, called the Bob Biz Center, which I'm a part member of. In less than 2 years, we've launched 8 Black businesses after creating an innovation business center, technology center. We brought 15 Black businesses in, and we launched 8 in 2.5 years. No TIF money, no empowerment, no money, no any money from government. Brother Roe Davis of the Bob Business Center, our visionary, and we launched those. And we just bought a new business center, medical, on 79th Street and Yates. So we're down on 79th Street. That's been with really no government funding. We're going on 79th and off of Ashland. So there's a breathing agenda that's going on. Sister Yah Simpson, who's a Black epidemiologist, sister's doing good work. We're doing some things around violence as a disease. Reverend Anthony Williams, who coined the phrase that violence is a disease. And so we've broken that down from a science that, in terms of violence being used as a disease, to put it into mental health and put it in another context. So there's a lot of money and funding and programs come wraparound service. So we also, we're doing a lot of work. As you know, my program, Books Over Balls, is a model for violence prevention. We helped Magic Johnson start the first 2 programs. Naomi Davis doing great work, Blacks in Green. I'm part of her organization when she founded Blacks in Green, Sustainable Community, 8 principles of green sustainable community. Black Oak Farm, Brother Fred Connor, he was on the call. Sustainable food, he's been blowing the horn. Sustainable food, we need to get it. Now we there, how are we going to eat? Pembroke, Black Oak Farm. I'm part. So this Black agenda is breathing in Chicago. It ain't talking about we going to. We doing things now. We waiting to plug in the gap with everybody citywide. Malcolm Crawford over on the west side, Soul City Corridor. They owning everything from Oak Park all the way back to Laramie, Blacktown. So everything that we affiliate in our network is a breathing document. State Rep Ford, who's been doing policies around Black people, the African American Employment Plan. My company, Green Acres, is a part of orchestrating that. Some of the things he's doing, and he's doing everything around Black and community involvement. So we have a breathing document that's breathing. So they don't talk about we finna start doing something. We talk about what God is doing right now and about to do bigger and better.
So now that we got an agenda, how do we stay alive? How do we stay alive long enough in order to be able to execute this? Because I know one of the things that we're discovering with this pandemic, that Black people and people of color are suffering from this more than anybody else. So I know that's not something that they could have genetically created a weapon to do, but it seems like we're the victims of this more than anybody else. And I know there's many reasons and many reasons why they came up with why we the ones under privileged, under healthcare, not addressing our own health issues, and not showing up. Okay. So how do we stay alive long? I know you're not a medical professional, you far from it, but you're in the conversations with people every day about this. How do we come up with an agenda to stay alive through this thing, because I know it's more than one thing that's killing us. You know, the Corona-19 is just part of it. And I'm sure there's some other things that after, all this is over, they'll say, oh, by the way, this was going on and that was going on. So I'm sure it's going to be some other things that are going to come out after all of this is over with. But right now, what is it that we need to be focusing in to try to be alive to get this agenda? Because you had some pretty, interesting conversations going on last week in this conference call, Zoom call. So I know you gathered something out of it, and I know you ain't standing home because you someplace else now. But I know there is something that you can take out of that you can probably share.
Well, I think we're in a special place as Black people. Well, and it's my personal spiritual belief. God is trying to get our attention. The devil don't have the power to kill Black children. God has to take his hands off of it. The devil don't have the power to lock down our seniors in this building and Black people get shot in Chicago at a high rate, and then the COVID-19. I think Chicago is a focal point of the world. First Black president, first Black mayor, first Black senator from Fred Hampton, Black Panther Party, Lou Palmer. You go on and on. We're the first in everything. And so it's a special place in terms of organizing, and the world is watching Chicago. Institutional racism has destroyed Black Chicago, and Black leadership and the church spiritual body has not stepped up to the plate. So God has getting our attention through our babies. We got to quit talking about 45. 45 ain't the issue. You can't get your damn garbage pulled around the corner and get your damn pothole out front of your house. They done closed 150 schools. You don't have a Black grocery store. You don't have anything that you own and control in Chicago. And you keep talking about Pennsylvania Avenue, talking about you don't want, but Trump money is our money. We pay him. So get off the 45 and get about your block. Door by door, how do you come together with your neighbors to practice this COVID-19 practice, and how do we come together? And one of the vehicles to do that is the National Black Club University. As you know, our good friend Ron Smith, he was not on the show. So I'm trying to ask you a question, Dr. Ron. Where do we start? Start on your block. And what we're trying to do is get information, because so much information is out there. You may be practicing the wrong thing. Well, I ain't gonna put on no mask. It don't kill Black people. Well, you see the message has changed. So we thank God for Rev 4. People say, well, the mask is not the little mask. Well, we have people who wasn't even trying to mask up at all. So let's get them to put on masks. Let's move to the different types of masks. But we have to do a ground approach, because our people are hurting, and we are the voices for the voices. So we're going to go down with the Block Club University. We're going to have Dr. Mason and Dr. Arnold give us our marching orders, so that when we plug it in the block clubs, get on the block so that people can be first response to getting some resources. And then we'll let State Rep Ford write policy to change it after. So after this policy is going to change in terms of business. So I'm trying to let you know it's going to be a quick but slow process, but we got to weed out through the lies and manipulation. But be clear, Black people in Chicago and America on judgment. When you saw Black people stand on the roof in Katrina, when the flood, and they had the Red Cross, they had the Blue Cross, they had Catholic charities. Everybody showed up but the damn Black Cross, and all we got was the damn double cross.
Yeah, and they still struggling down in Louisiana.
So we should have been after the hurricane, Sarita, Karita, whatever. Noah said it's gonna rain. So we were supposed to have food and water for 2-3 weeks before COVID-19. You should have had batteries in your house, a generator in your house. You just had matches in your house. You had 3-4 weeks of food in your house and 2-3 weeks water. We were supposed to be doing that just on natural. Now we look crazy, running crazy when they already watched Katrina and all over the country. That you got to get prepared. Even a damn squirrel in the wintertime, in the summer, start putting away nuts. What the hell is wrong with Black people not preparing for the storm? We've always been catching hell in America.
Yeah, that's true. You can't argue with that. Look, let me give a couple of shout outs. I see a few people on the line. Angela Ford, all the way down there from Louisville, Kentucky. We got Charlie Fox. He said, "What's up?" Reven. Yeah. Let's see. We got Miss Michelle Richardson on the line. David's on the line with us, who's going to be coming on the show in a little bit. Francis on the line. Deidre White is on the line watching. Let's see, we got Chris Bates, my brother in broadcasting. He says, hey, hello, what's up, Raven?
What's up, big bro? Yes, sir.
You know, we got Don Funches on the line. She's shouting out at us all the way from California. We got Ebony Eyes is listening. Cheryl Blackman is listening.
That's my sister, National Black Agenda on the ground.
Yeah,
that's a spiritual woman. You know, I was just talking to her today, and I want to tell people, you don't have to keep telling people I'm blessed and highly favored. When you walk with God, they can see it on your damn face, in your chest, and your spirit. Quit trying to brag about it. Just walk and be about it.
Yes. Let's see. Cheryl says, stay under the blood of Jesus and stick to grandmother's remedies. Wash hands, hot teas, steam, alkaline waters, etc. We got Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown says, shut down 5G and all our problems will be solved. Sequoia Seawood, she's tuning in all the way from over there in the Midwest. All the way down in Louisiana, Wayne Ray Sr. tuning in. He survived through the Katrina. Lisa Kenner, hey, Reven, blessings from Hubbard Park. Mike Neal, sending much love. Adam Shorter's tuned in. Man, we got all kind of people tuning in. We thank you for coming in and listening to what we're talking about. One of the topics that we're talking about today is the Black agenda and what's the world going to look like, not just Chicago, but what the world's going to look like after all this is over with. And Reven has been on the front line.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Go right ahead, Reven.
So we're going to do a show from the National Black Agenda. Our next move, I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to have a show with with Brother Ojumenji, who helped put together part of our strategic plan in terms of the pandemic about what happens after Katrina. What should we be doing? Then I'm going to come back and talk about what do Black businesses need to be doing, how to restructure. So the National Black Agenda is going to be doing those two things. What happens after the COVID-19? What's going to be the next adjustment for Black people to have an agenda for our own, to turn within and do for self? So I'm sorry, I wanted to jump on that while you brought it up.
Yeah, look, Chris said, Reven, he's boots on the ground and he ain't lying. That's what Chris said. So you know, one of the things that's going on, you know, it's undetermined on how long this is going to last. You know, and I've been saying, you know, and a lot of people think I'm playing, but I've been saying that you need to cancel Christmas. Okay, don't even think about trying to get back out into any major events publicly, you know, with all of this, you know, insecurity that's going on, because we're going to have several waves of this outbreak. Okay. And with the several waves of outbreak, you know, if they don't get enough of us in the first wave, they're going to try and get us in the second and the third wave. So we have to use common sense and wisdom in much of it. You know, I don't have a problem staying out of these folks' way while they're doing what they're doing and how they're trying to do what they're doing. But they're the experts are saying at least 18 months down the road before they figure out how to get this thing under control. You know, and that's a serious time frame, because if you're looking at, we're in April now, 18 months, that's next year sometime before, you know, and I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time. The entertainment industry is completely shut down all over the world. Ain't no tours going on, ain't no shows, ain't no entertainment. If you don't catch it on Facebook or Instagram, you know, or television, it ain't happening. You know, so people are, what we used to think was a regular or a norm is not going to be a norm anymore. You know, I was talking with some entertainers on last week, and they were saying, you know, like, look, even if they decided to put a promotion together, people are not going to come out 400 or 500 in one location to try to hang out, because people are going to be scared. You know, people are going to be insecure, you know, because they don't want to get caught in this wave of, you know, uncertainty about health. And that's an issue, you know. So they're still trying to figure out how they're going to have an election. You know, seriously speaking, you know, they're bringing out, you know, this rolling out this mail order ballot that they've been talking about. You know, and that might happen. You know, the election might take place over the mail. You know, in order to be able to try and get something going on. So hey, if that's what the new agenda looks like going forward, you know, like look, they ain't never stolen an election with the mail before, but and I know they have, but they can try and steal it again. You
Well,
know.
don't forget the Bush family. We got caught in the bushes in Texas and Florida. Oh, it was stolen in the mail and at the machine post. But
Right.
one of the things I want to talk, going back to the people keep talking that 45 conversation. The reason why 45 keeps talking about Chicago and why he's comfortable with it, we had the biggest voters voting for the mayor, one of the historical elections in Chicago for a new mayor with two black sisters running. And we had the lowest turnout with black people in the history. So, Trump ain't trying to hit nobody, ain't registered. Ain't nobody hitting on. So maybe since you're going to stay inside, you might vote from your house. But also, we had the biggest governor's election for black people in the state of Illinois. The world was watching Illinois. You can't elect a black president or anybody or any kind of president that's come to Chicago. We had the lowest turnout of black people in any election for one of the biggest elections to get rid of the Republican to get a Democrat. And ain't nobody come out. So when y'all keep talking 45, if you ain't registered and got registered, he talk about people that ain't registered. So you really ain't pissed off if black people ain't registered. We got a large ex-offender community that ain't coming out to register to vote. We got a large bunch of people. We got millennials that got to step their game up, but we got to show them something. But they can't keep coming to step up to the plate for something you can't show them when you don't have a black grocery store. You don't have a black gas. You have one black gas station. You ain't got no black banks. So quit talking about the millennials not coming out when you don't own shit.
All right now. Look, we got Andrew Woodard. He said, "Hey, what's up, Dr. Ron?" Marshall Thompson on the line from the Shy Lights. He said, "There are not going to be no shows." He said, "It ain't happening." Marshall said that. You know, from the Shy Lights.
Yes, sir.
You know, Mahogany Honey is on the line watching with us. We got Cheryl Blackman. She said, "Hey." You know, she said Dr. Frazier, so I don't know who she's talking about, but she said, "Hey," anyway. But we saying, "Hey," back to everybody.
Now she's mentioning our commander in chief of the National Black Agenda, Dr. Gail Frazier. So the Black Agenda Consortium are probably looking. I blasted, so she may see her up on the screen somewhere. Dr. Gail Frazier, our fearless leader for the National Black Agenda. That's probably who she's mentioning.
Okay, no problem. We good with that. Now look, we're gonna take a quick pause for the calls. Y'all hang with me. Reva, you stay right there. Don't go nowhere.
We bringing, we gonna have to bring our young soldier in soon.
We're gonna bring them in after this, man. Just calm down. I got this. Okay, just hold on. We got it. Let me do my advertisement right quick. We're gonna flip over here to this screen, and
ask Dr. Ron, ask Dr. Ron. Whatever you're feeling, he will give you healing, healing for you. Ask Dr. Ron, ask Dr. Ron. Entertaining news, political issues, local and globally.
all right, that was my theme song. I want to encourage everyone to go over to my website, www.ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to search my website. When you get over there, you'll see a lot of information about me, some motivational things. You'll see the time for the show, which is every Tuesday from 5 to 6. And then you'll also see some of the people and some of the pictures that I've worked with. Soul Street Collective, one of the entertainment groups in the Chicagoland area. One of the hottest groups that's out there. They won't be working this year, but they was out there. They were one of the hottest groups in the city. You'll also see a video of one of my former co-hosts. My co-host, Miss Opal Staples, used to work with me right here on Facebook Live. And then we'll come to our advertisers. And then we were just talking about Cyron Smith a little while ago, National Block Club University. He is one of the people that's on the front line, trying to make sure that we have what we need in each and every one of our neighborhoods. There's representatives with National Black Club University. He has a plan to slow the violence, to slow the economic poverty that's going on in our communities. And if you click on that tab, it'll take you right over to Cyron's website, where you can get more information about what's going on with National Block Club University. All right. Also, I have Chief Nomo. Chief Nomo has some products that he brings in from the west coast of Africa, moringa seed, oils, and soaps. And he also specializes in alkaline water. If you have heard many people say about going back to the old way of healing, you need to get you some alkaline water and begin to drink it. I know Mark Allen swears by it. Helped him get cured from cancer. So alkaline water can help bring your health back to fullness, that you can overcome whatever ails you. And Chief Nomo sells it. He's a black business in our community. Support him. Click on the banner here. It'll take you right over to his website. Also, we have Mr. R.R.J. Webb, Mr. Ralph Jenkins. If you are interested in putting together a website, he can help you do it. He does everything from hosting, building, maintenance, anything related to websites. RRJ Webb, they do it. And they give you some of the best prices out there. And he gives you maintenance. He can do hosting. He can do everything. So what you want to do is click on the banner there. It'll take you right over to his website. And you can check in with Mr. Ralph Jenkins. All right. And last but not least, my favorite one, Port Again Sam. Port Again Sam has been with me for over 10 years now, and he brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And I promise you, when you go sit down with Sam, because they still open, alcoholic beverages and marijuana is one of the essential businesses that is still operating in the city of the state of Illinois, actually. And he brings in wine, I tell you, from everywhere. And if you know what you like, he can help you get some of the best of it. When I first met Sam, I was not a connoisseur. Now I'm a connoisseur. I have been exposed to wine that I had never thought existed. And I tell you, you can call him up, click on the banner, take you right over to his website, and he will help you find whatever wine or cognac that you don't even know exists and that you'll love it. So click on Port Again Sam. It'll take you right over to his website. Also on my website, ask-dr-ron, you can leave your information there, where you can get information about what's going on, who's doing things. We send out information on a regular basis. We also have a tab. Now, a lot of people say they ain't got no money. I have information about Cash Crowdfund. Look at that tab and get in touch with me. I know you want to make some money during this time when everybody else ain't got no money. I know this is a golden opportunity to try and get some money. And that tab on Cash Crowdfund on ask-dr-ron.com will explain what it is and what it isn't. And then get in touch with me so we can help you start making some money right away. Real easy to do. All right. So that's my commercial. Let's see. Let's go over here and get Reven back on the screen. And now we got David on the screen with us. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, good brother? How you doing?
Doing fine. David's been on the show with Reven before, and I did not put David on the screen, but his name. But David is with the Museum. And Dave is with the Pullman Porter Museum. Is that correct?
That's right. The National Hay Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum. Can't forget Hay Philip Randolph's name.
All right. So we're glad to have you on the show with us today because we want to hear somebody that got some sense because Reuben ain't got no sense. You know, the last.
I beg to differ. That's gonna make me halfway crazy because this is my mentor. So a lot of what I got came from him. You know?
Oh Lord, don't confess that. This is being broadcast, okay? You know, you know. I know Reven is on the front line, and I tease him all the time because he know I love him, and when I call on him, he makes a way to make things happen. So, and I know the last time that he came on the show, you had an event, a black tie event that came up. What was that? A couple of months ago. You want to give us an update on how that event went?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it went wonderful. It went wonderful in terms of what it was that we were doing, and all fairness, honesty, and transparency. We did not reach our goal in terms of fundraising, but we do it every year just because it's the time of the year when we honor the history, heritage, and culture of our museum. We honor the fact that our founder, Dr. Lynn, he was founded during Black History Month, and we just want to keep the ball rolling. You know what I mean? But every year it gets hard, you know what I mean? And during these times, we feel the burn as a little bit more because this is when we typically open. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important that we're grounded and rooted in the mission of what it is that we do. You know, it's funny, you know, when we were on the way over here, you know, I was joking with Reva saying, you know, me and him got a relationship like Mr. Clark and the guy on leaning on me when they back there arguing. And I said, all right, man, you think you bad, don't you? Let's go get something to eat, you know? and it's people like Reva who keep me grounded, you know, even in those uncomfortable moments, you know, because, you know, this work isn't easy, you know, and it's emotional wear and tear on us. It affects our personal and interpersonal relationships tremendously, sometimes more so than people know. It affects us financially and physically, very frankly, you know, so we got to stay prayed up and we got to stay rooted in the mission. And the mission must always be bigger than us because in those times when we want to give up, if we're rooted in that mission, we keep on going. It's almost like something that haunts you at night. So in the daytime, you might say, man, I'm tired, man, I'm about to I quit, you know, and then you go to sleep and you're dreaming about it. And now you wake up with that passion again, you know. So right now through this pandemic, if you will, what we're doing is just staying focused. You know, the Black agenda is a living, breathing model, like he said, you know, so there are no days off for it. You know, it might alter in its form. The different point that we might touch on at specific times might change. But we're always deeply rooted in the Black agenda. And once again, I'm thankful for the elders that I've surrounded myself with and positioned myself as a student of under who keep me grounded in that sense. Because very frankly, the people in my generation don't give a damn. You know what I mean? I mean, we on Facebook talking about everything but what the actual solution is. You'd be surprised how many times I jump online and I might just idly just share something that I'm scrolling down, maybe just, I'm going to read this later. Let me share it now and I'll bookmark it. And then people come on and they so bent out of shape about who the article's talking about, 9 times out of 10, 45. You know what I mean? And now you willing to disrespect and go against your own Black brother because of something that somebody that neither one of us know. You know what I mean? Now we're being counterproductive. Now we wasted time, and now we're moving farther away from the solution.
Yeah, that's so true, brother. Very well put, man. Dang, I can see who you've been hanging out with, you know. You know, let me give a quick shout out to a couple of people that just popped on the line. Jeanette just popped on. We got Miss Kim came on, Kim Bradshaw. We got Casper, you know, from the Casper slide. He's stalking us right now. You know, we got Tammy Washington. She put a post up on the feed. So a lot of people that are tuning in, you know, to pay attention to what you guys have to say about what's going on. So now I asked Reven earlier about what he thinks the future of what the world is going to be like, and I'm saying world, not just Chicago. So what's your view and opinion right about now about what you think? Because you're younger, you got a lot more years left on the earth than I would or Reven would, because you know we old school. But you the young brother on the block and then on this conversation. So what do you think the future of the world is going to look like when all this is over with?
Man, I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you, brother, because I'm an old soul, very young man, but an old soul. You know, I've always been around the elders, even since I was a kid. You know, so I've been, so naturally, I'm a historian. I study history. You know what I mean? I mean, once again, you know, we have this museum here where we archive history, heritage, and culture every day. So because that's the case, I'm a student of history, right? And I know from studying history from now all the way back to Wasset when we created the 7 liberal arts somewhere in Africa before they even got over to Europe or America or whatever it is, right? Because I'm a study of history, I understand that historically speaking, every time our people are in it, we win it. So if we go to war to fight, we gonna tear them a new one. You think about the slave revolts. You think about I mean just everything. You think about Queen Nzinga, who said, you know, you guys too soft. I'm about to dress up like a guy and go to war with the Portuguese and won. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I say all that to say I know how this is gonna end up because history repeats itself. You know, we read the Bible out of context so much. You know, spare the rod, spoil the child. Now people think I mean beat the hell out your kids. You know. But it really, what they were talking about in that context was the shepherd using his staff and his rod to kind of ward off the negative spirits, the evil spirits from attacking his sheep, right? So in that same respect, people always read the Bible and say, oh man, you see all the locusts going on right now. And they're talking about the end of time, right? Oh man, the end of the world is about to happen. You know, so you see the pandemic, the world about to blow up tomorrow, right? But what's happening is, what they're saying is, it's the end of an era. It's the end of a time. Right? So what's happening is we're going through a paradigm shift right now. The universe is literally cleansing itself and balancing everything out. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Oh man. So when you really dig into that, right? When you really dig into that from a educational perspective, a historical perspective, and a spiritual perspective, you understand what's really going on right now. So our people have been persecuted, right? We have the largest numbers affected by this, right?
That's right.
We're going to come out of this thing so strong and so resilient that people don't know what to do. Because, see, people who got the money, very frankly, they're the ones who panicking right now. We've been broke.
Right.
We know exactly what to do right now.
For real.
So we ain't been working. Ain't no work from home. We ain't been working.
Right.
Right.
So,
right now, right? That's why you can look outside, drive through the neighborhood. Unfortunately, not saying that this is a good thing, but unfortunately, people outside like ain't nothing going on. I mean, you just drive through the hood right now. People just outside walking around. Like now, we're starting to see more people with masks on. That's good, but people aren't even fazed by this. And there's a double-edged sword to that. We're not living in fear, but at the same time, we do need to be informed. We do need to be involved with the process in order to help this. So coming out of this, what's going to happen is once the stock market recovers, we're going to see a lot more black people in the stock market. We're going to see a lot more black people investing in Bitcoin. And we actually had a connection for that. We'll make sure we drop the link on there. You want to buy some Bitcoin, join our Bitcoin group. You know, we're trying to acquire wealth right now. We're trying to prepare ourselves so that as soon as this thing is over and while it's going on, we are providing the resources for our people. In 2015, the museum here, the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, once again, we created what we call the Green Initiatives Program Division. At that time, we had begun to have workshops at the museum about disaster preparedness. We began to have nature bike rides and stuff and all of those types of things, but it kind of fell off a little bit because our capacity is a little bit, frankly. I mean, when you're not funded by city, state, or federal funds, you know, you're a small independent museum. Sometimes you don't have the capacity to do the things that your heart desires. But we have the intent to educate our people on what to do if this type of thing happens. Last summer, as a matter of fact, we started the first annual Health and Wellness Food Festival because we understood that health and wellness was something that was not easily accessible in our community. And we also understood that food was tying directly into that. You know, I lost 2 of my mentors, Kwesi Ronald Harris, Joseph Watkins, both to prostate cancer. And that ate me up, you know what I mean? Because those were 2 brothers that poured into me so much, you know what I mean? And I could call them at any given time just to get wisdom. And for them to be taken from me, you know, because of something that I feel was preventable, it gave me a charge that was different. So we went full force into trying to create this Health and Wellness Festival, which this year will be the second time, you know. So even if we don't have it outside, we're still going to have that resource available online on portals where people can go online, find out about ways to eat healthy, find out about healthier options, get access to telemedicine and telehealth, which is the new way that people are being seen so that they don't have to go into these busy hospitals. You know what I mean? We'll have a doctor call you on FaceTime and see what's going on, put a smartwatch on you, check your blood pressure and your heart rate. And in the event that you need help, they'll dispatch somebody to you. We partner with Healing Hands Home Care in order to do that. So every resource that's available out there, we're trying to garner it. And like we even said about the squirrels getting the nuts, that's what we're doing. Any financial resource that is accessible to us right now, any health resources that's accessible to us right now, any food, anything under the Black agenda, which my mentor Joseph Watkins used to always say to me, you need to be grounded in your permanent interests. And your permanent interest needs to always be the everlasting existence of Black folk. Make sure the Black folks always have somewhere to eat and can provide for themselves, and make sure we always preserve our history, heritage, and culture. And that permanent interest grounds us in what the objective of the Black agenda is. So coming out of this, we're going to be more resilient. We're going to be more self-sustainable, and we'll be less dependent on external resources. Because I want to say this. Every time I walk in Walmart and I'm trying to just get me a little bottle of alcohol or some hand sanitizer or some bleach wipes, and it's not there, I am disappointed in us as innovative people. We're in America and we got to fly out to China to buy stuff. When in all actuality, one of these abandoned buildings could be turned into a factory where we produce these masks, where we produce these gloves. We could take an abandoned building, put out an RFQ, finding out who in the state or the city has the qualifications in order to produce these things, or manufacture these things. Then we can put out an RFP saying, hey, this is what is on the table right now. Everybody who had an RFQ in, let us know if you have the capacity to produce these masks, these gloves, this hand sanitizer, this alcohol, anything. We're talking about very small things. We're not even talking about technology. So there's absolutely no excuse for us to not be able to produce these things right in our backyard and provide jobs while doing so. If the unemployment is high and there is a high demand for a product and service, then why aren't we economically thinking? You know, that's why the Pullman porters are my heroes. Well, not the Pullman porters, the brotherhood of sleeping car porters. That's why they're my heroes. Because those brothers saw a problem and they stood up and they got to it. They didn't wait on nobody. They didn't ask nobody for permission. As a matter of fact, they went to the table with demands and said, this is what we're going to do. They didn't just show up just to be seen. They didn't just show up in numbers just so they could be, and we want our voice heard. No, they didn't show up like that. They said, no, we're not leaving this negotiation table until we get what we want. And that's how we come.
Well, you know, it is an honor and a privilege to hear you speak like this, because it lets me feel encouraged to know that our future is in good hands. I got to read this comment that came in from Robert Moman. You know, he said, I'm David, brother, and he has always had true passion for Chicago as a kid. He wanted to educate his family, friends, and neighbors. He has always pushed for strength in our community, even as a 14-year-old, I'm assuming. That was his desire as it is today. So there you go. You got a compliment from somebody that knows you in the past.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, me and that brother, we went to St. Sabina Church together. You know, we were out there marching up and down 79th Street in the 90s, you know.
Okay. We got Cheryl Blackman. She said, wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. Okay. Right. Maxwell Justice Little said, we need government and always have. Okay. You know, Maxwell said, because we don't have the resources to do it. For example, Willie Wilson has a large amount of masks, but he can't even get them sold in the city or state. Now, one thing I did hear on the news yesterday about Willie Wilson, he went to the city of Chicago to Mayor Lightfoot, and he told them they had to pay cash for his mask, which I ain't mad at him. You know, I would not let the city of Chicago owe me no money either. So her response to that was, oh, I'm not finna give away $1 million of the taxpayers' dollars to Willie Wilson. I was like, bad move, you know, because if you need masks and he got them, why not?
Well, I think, and I really appreciate Dr. Wilson's intention. I appreciate that. But that's the stuff you take to the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, state checks come on time for the most part. He's been also advocating with the governor runner who put us in this damn hole, and he championed him to be elected. But I'm saying that should have been a state conversation. Lori and the mayor Lightfoot just disengaged with him. So to disengage with him and then go back to see her, it was a little bit of tension there in the beginning. It has to be a different olive branch in relationship. But I think he should have went to the state to deal with it, because he had been dealing with putting a governor in, it should have been another negotiation. Since he's a philanthropist and since he has money and since he has a following, that conversation should have been pushed on the state of Illinois through Central Management Service to get that major contract to feed everybody in the state of Illinois.
According to Maxwell, Justice Little, he did take it to the state. So he just didn't go, you know, he did take it to the state. And I thought that was kind of interesting too. Now, here's a man that brings in medical supplies from all over the world. And he's got a warehouse right here in the Chicagoland area. And, you know, he's giving away more than what he's made, you know, off of any of those supplies. And they still won't do business with him.
So let me say this. David just explained to you that this A. Philip Randolph history. They told him to make me do it. So if we're going to the table begging like Lazarus, you go and demand the mayor do it with your 19 wards, with the 19 wards you got to get her elected. And you take the people from the street to go tell the governor who got voted in by 94% of black people, you want your shit right now. If that ain't the demand, that's special infection at the table like Lazarus. So don't ask for nothing. And we ain't prepared to get nothing, take nothing. Ain't nobody gonna give black people nothing. So quit making excuses. If you go and ask them, they should give it to you. Go to take it.
I know that's right. Well, like I said, Willie Wilson ain't hurting. Okay. Right. You know, and I applaud him for all that he does because he gave away masks at Mount Sinai last week. He gave masks away to all of the CTA bus drivers in the city of Chicago, you know, that did not have masks before he gave them to them. So, I mean, you know, he has done quite a bit, you know, to try and make people safe that are, you know, essential, you know, workers in the city of Chicago. And from what I understand, some other places too. I'm sorry to mean to cut you off. Go right ahead, Dave.
Say this. I appreciate Dr. Wilson, that's what I'm saying. But this is the problem. When you go to the table by yourself, black people keep going to the table on individuals. You got to bring the community and the people to you. And the churches that's at home, send the email, send the fax, text them. Man, you got him. He's part of the ministry with the people. He know the pastors. You can't keep going to the room if you're an elected official by yourself. You can't go to the room if you're a pastor by yourself. You can't go to the room if you're a philanthropist by yourself. Black people, quit going by yourself. The Latinos asked for $100 million to build 13 new charter schools. They got $98 million, 13 new schools up, and black people are begging after 150 schools closed to go back into a school for $1. Asbestos. Talk to me.
And you know, and in that same spirit, you know, that man, just like what Reed was saying, that type of stuff resonates in my soul. Because when I unconsciously veer off from that, I always bump my head. You know what I mean? And then I got a call, man. I told you, you don't go down that road, or you're gonna trip over that rock and then fall. And I got to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? But it's in those times that I've learned the hard way. Once again, it's grounded me in purpose. And that's why, you know what I mean, we've been working on what we call the Community Economic Development Empowerment Project, because each one of us needs to have the capacity to represent 1 million black people. Each one of us, you know what I mean? So for me, I come from the, if you see it need to be done, just do it, try it. You know what I mean? And, you know, in the spirit of Brother Dr.Ron, you know, this is our block. You know, we like to call this block Randolph's Way. You know what I mean? The same block that the museum is on, right? We riddled with vacant lots and abandoned buildings, right? So we've taken it upon ourselves to create an entire initiative based around several different models of planning, urban planning and urban development to redevelop this area into what we call a neighborhood stabilization plan. And that will be our proof of concept, and that will be where we put people to work. So from there, we'll be able to have young guys coming over here doing demolition and minor work in the construction field who don't necessarily have that skill set yet. Then while they're there, we can feed them into an apprentice program so that they can get into a trade. Then we can have the tradesmen with the skills come in and fine tune everything and work hand in hand with these young brothers. Simultaneously, we take advantage of what we call cultural economic development. You know what I mean? The brother Ron Watkins, one of our great ancestors, you know what I mean? He was the one who actually really handcrafted that concept of cultural economic development, where we use tourism and hospitality as a means of social and economic development in our community. So you talked about a couple of entertainers that are on the phone, right? The entertainment community has and always has had the capacity to fuel our underground movements because they get the money in volume, right? But we needed to create a pipeline where they have something that makes sense. So it's not just every year I'm doing a turkey giveaway or a Coke giveaway or something that's necessarily not meaningful or sustainable. But no, you're pouring into a system, a machine that's going to pump out consistent capital, that's going to pump out consistent workforce development, that's going to pump out consistent jobs so that our people can be self-sustainable, so that when we go to the table to ask for something, we only have to do that once or twice. We don't want to have to become dependent on that. Because when we become dependent on that, we give someone else the capacity to determine our fate. And that's why we are still in the same place that we've been in, because we were more concerned in the past about just having our voice heard. And the voice don't mean nothing, because they're going to tell you what you want to hear just to get out their damn face. But if you go to the table and say, look, whatever you think about me, you don't have to like me at all. Just let me walk away from the table with this. And then when they walk away, now we go back and we distribute that to the multitude. That's where we at with it. So we're in self-help mode. We tired of asking people. We're not going to the table asking for nobody. We're saying, look, this is how it should be done. This is how it can be done. We are prepared. We have the credit scores you need. We have the capital you need. We have the assets you need in order to do it. Just give us a seat at the table so that we can get it done. So my thing is self-sufficiency and initiative is what's going to happen. And sometimes initiative and ambition might get us in trouble. Sometimes people might perceive us to be moving too fast, or sometimes people might misinterpret our intentions, right? But we need to stay focused on the overall goal. That's why we have to be comfortable sometimes being the sacrificial lamb, because sometimes you might rub somebody the wrong way. Moving fast, trying to seize the moment to save your people. We are in a state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency. It is terrible out here for our people. And if the few people that do have a chance to get up, they become food for the people that are still on the bottom. So now we have created an internal hateful environment where people are going at each other just trying to get a couple of dollars.
And I say to that, Dr. Ron, is and getting passionate, not emotional. I am tired of seeing Black people, and I don't want David and Maxwell them to pick up the habit of our elder leadership that are going in the back room sometime by themselves. Pastors going in the back room, businessmen and contractors by themselves. While Hasia is the need construction people in Chicago because they go in together. So my passion regard is you cannot keep saying that you're going to go there by yourself and represent the people if the people don't see the people behind you is not your power. JB was elected with 94% of Black voters. Chicago has 89 Black elected officials, the largest in the United States of America. Wouldn't it have made more sense to call the Black caucus in Springfield, because he has that kind of leverage, they know him. I want to do this. Do you guys get behind? Tell us they're not, so we can jump on them. He should have went to city council and said, hey, I have this situation. All 20-something aldermen in a Black caucus should have supported. Congressman Danny Davis, Bobby Rush, and also Robin Kelly, and even Dick Durbin, who's not a brother, but is a brother from another mother or another color. I don't know, but he's still a state legislator. Why not have a conversation with them and say, I'm going? And if they say no, then tell us. But to go to the table and negotiate without any leverage, because they're going to ask you, what you going to do if I don't do it? So since she said no, and since the governor said no, and since we mad at 45, we all being told no. So what we going to do about it if they say no? We then went back to our houses and got back to doing business as usual. And our young people are not going to sit around and wait for us to be begging when we can't feed ourselves with a Black grocery store. Thank you, brother.
Look, National Black Agenda Consortium.org. That's your organization. That's where you can go to your website, get more information. They can call you at 773-969-9644. Now, I'm going to tell y'all about that phone number. You can call it. He ain't going to answer. But he might call you back, because he be so busy, he cannot get back right away.
They got to send a text out.
Okay. All right. Reven Fellows and David, man, I appreciate y'all coming on the show today. We appreciate all the information you put out. I mean, it's time for this show to end today. And I know Reven got another call coming up at 6 o'clock. We got to get him out of here so he can go do what he got to do. Reven, if you want to give us something, and David, you end up, what you want to leave with the people before we go?
Well, I'll let David close. We are in a serious crisis as a people, and I think it's biblical. God is asking Black people to turn within and do for self. And if we're not going to go about this situation that we're all in the same boat, we're going to be picked off one at a time and separated, and we won't have the power of God. We're more powerful with a fist than we are separated. We've tried all this separate and we've not won. We have to bring the churches, the politicians, and the community and the people together to fight this situation so God can heal the land. So as long as we say fragmented, young baby's going to get killed, God's going to take his hands off of it. We had Tyshawn Lee murdered, and we call it Chirac. Another 5-year-old baby just got killed down the street from Tyshawn Lee. So I don't know what we're going to call it. So if you can't see that God is trying to get his attention, then we might as well pack up and call it a day, because Noah said it's going to rain.
Amen.
David?
I'll just leave off with a quote from Philip Randolph. At the banquet table of nature, there are no reserved seats. You get what you can take, and you keep what you can hold. If you can't take anything, you won't get anything. And if you can't hold anything, you won't keep anything. And you can't take anything without organization. In that order.
All right. I appreciate both of y'all taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with me on a Tuesday. Very powerful stuff on today. One thing I want to say before we get out of here today is, there are many people all around us that are losing loved ones. I just want you to keep them in your prayers and in your thoughts. Keep their families lifted up, because people are hurting right now, and it's like very close. I mean, you might talk to somebody today who ain't here tomorrow. So, I just want to encourage everybody to be compassionate, pray for one another, give them the encouragement that they need to be able to get through this, and to be able to, heal from the loss of their loved ones. Once again, I salute all the people on the front line that are out here working every day trying to keep folks alive. The pastors, the ministers, the police, the fire department, and all of our healthcare professionals. We applaud you. We keep you lifted up in prayer. Stay strong. Don't let fear overcome you. Don't let worry overcome you. Just stay strong, and this too shall come to pass. So that being said, we're gonna see you all on next week. So come on back and hang out with me next week. We got a lot going on. We're gonna try and keep this thing going as long as we can, which I got nothing but time, so we can keep it going. So love and peace. See y'all on next week.